So where would Ketanji Brown Jackson fit on the bench? ABC News Supreme Court contributor Kate Shaw joins us now to talk a big picture. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Lindsay. Good to be here.
And I just want to start right off because when I first came in and saw you were kind of wiping away tears, it was an emotional moment for you.
It was moving. Just as Judge Jackson's husband sort of teared up as she was talking, I found myself having the same reaction. In particular, when she talked about the challenges of balancing an intense career and being a parent, right? I'm a mom, you're a mom. It is a struggle. It is real.
It's real.
And hearing her acknowledge both the struggle and the fact that you don't have to achieve perfection at any given moment. It's the trajectory that matters. And for her daughter sitting there and all of our daughters sitting wherever they are to see her before the Senate and with such an amazing opening, I thought her statement was fantastic. It was really moving. It really was.
And I would bet that she's probably balancing it all, pretty well. You know, people like to categorize everybody, right? So what category would you put her in as far as liberal, moderate?
You know, I think that she will be a justice very much in the mold of Justice Breyer, who she's been chosen to replace. So a liberal, but certainly well within the mainstream. I think she will probably deviate in some areas from the opinions that he would have reached. I think, he often sided with the government in criminal justice cases. She might not. She might break with him on some religious liberty cases. But for the most part, she'll be, I think, a justice in his model. But I do think that, she will be a significant change on the court, even if her votes don't differ from Justice Breyer's likely votes very often, right? You will have the 3 liberal justices on the court will be 3 women, 2 of them women of color. And even if what they are doing is just issuing righteous dissents in cases, I think that will have a certain symbolic and substantive quality because it is emanating from these 3 female justices that will just, I think, mark a real change on the court. Again, even if the results in cases aren't any different.
It's that difference between the voice versus the vote,
yes.
Right? And they will certainly have, and she will, if confirmed, have a unique perspective and voice there. Any upcoming cases that you think she might tip the scale?
There are a couple of big cases next fall. A case on the future of affirmative action out of Harvard and UNC.
Which she might recuse herself from, right?
It is possible, right? So she is a trustee of Harvard, and so it's conceivable she could recuse herself in the Harvard case, but there's another case, a UNC case, that I don't think she'd have to recuse from, so she could still participate. A case involving the constitutionality of the Indian Child Welfare Act. That's one where her vote potentially could be outcome determinative. But look, it's a very conservative 6-3 court. So again, I don't think she's likely to change the outcome in very many cases because she'll be voting the way Breyer did. So I think it's a different kind of change she's likely to bring.
There's been some discussion about honoring the Ginsburg rule, of course, famously named after the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who deflected at her confirmation hearing, saying that she wasn't going to opine about how she might rule in a hypothetical case. Do you expect that we'll have more of the same from Judge Jackson?
I got to confess, I think it's a little unfairly named the Ginsburg rule because she was actually pretty forthcoming about certain issues, things like reproductive rights and justice. But of course, you're right, it is called that rule. And the norm today is that, these nominees are pretty non-committal and evasive. I think that was particularly true of President Trump's 3 nominees, and particularly his most recent nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. She really didn't answer very many questions directly. So yeah, I expect that kind of, the model of deflection on particular cases Judge Jackson will adhere to. It's important, to get the votes, and I think she and the White House will understand that is the ultimate mission, even if law professors like me would like a more substantive exchange about, what the Constitution means, how we should read it, things like that. So, I think we will learn about her, but we won't learn how she'll vote on individual cases, and maybe that's appropriate given where these confirmation hearings are today.
Just in the last 30 seconds while I have you here, we've already heard from Senator Hawley and Senator McConnell as far as the idea that she might be soft on crime, that perhaps her history as a public defender, she's more empathetic to criminals. Do you feel like that's a fair criticism?
I think that all of her sentencing decisions from the district court suggest she is well within the mainstream. And does her experience as a defender shape the way she approaches criminal cases? I'm sure it does, but we've got former prosecutors on the Supreme Court. Criminal cases should have, criminal cases should be decided by the court with input from individuals who have seen all sides of the criminal justice system. So I really don't think that's a fair attack, no.
Kate Shaw, we thank you so much for your time and insight.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Our coverage of the confirmation hearing of Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson continues. Join us tomorrow morning at 9.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.